Thank you so much. So, yeah, let's just start. My name is Jordi Pinyana. I'm a core contributor to the Bogdone project, and today I'm going to explain how we brought cypherpunk values to real-world elections. So, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here and to care about this kind of stuff. It's really important for us. So, first of all, let me put you in context. We are in Catalonia in the 1st of October 2017. The Catalan people wanted to organize a referendum of independence to check with civil society if they wanted to become an independent state from Spain in a form of republic, or they wanted to stay in Spain. We had opinions from both sides, but the important thing is that people wanted to decide. You can see how much people wanted to decide. Yeah, we were expecting to have a democratic, no problem voting process, but this is actually what happened. So people got prosecuted for voting in a democratic and in a pacific way. And basically the central government of Spain sent the military police to beat people for voting in a democratic state in the 21st century in a European country. This is crazy. And at that point, some activists, political activists, engineers, we unite for creating a digital voting system that avoids this. I don't want to see these images ever again. And yeah, let's go to the Cypherpunk Manifesto. Why privacy is important in these scenarios. So privacy is the power to selectively reveal oneself to the world. It's necessary, privacy is necessary for an open society in the electronic age. And we, the cypherpunks, we write free and open source code that cannot be destroyed and is unstoppable. So why we need this? Because this should never happen again in any country, anywhere in the world. So first, why privacy is essential in these cases? Because we need to protect the voter. Protecting the voter prevents coercion and intimidation, strengthens trust in the system, encourages honest participation, and prevents vote buying, and also protects voters against retaliation, as we saw in the past image. But this is not the only side of the history. There's another side. We need to empower the organizer. The organizer can also face retaliation. We need to provide guidance, increase legitimacy, reduce costs, because nowadays it's super expensive to organize a voting process with all the democratic guarantees. And we need to offer end-to-end solutions that are flexible to the organization needs. So current digital voting solutions, they are expensive, they are centralized, they are insecure and inaccessible. Nowadays cost between $3 and $5 per voter to organize a secure democratic election, and this is only on the hands of few nation states. Then the technology is centralized, so the only way they can offer security is through obfuscation, and it's full of single points of failure. It's insecure, so there are no peer reviews. The code is closed source, and it's prone to tampering and manipulation. Also, it's inaccessible. It's only accessible through private companies, and there are very few private companies that offer this kind of services. And when you go to the open source realm, all of the technology, it's super difficult to use, and it's not meant to be used by normal people. So you can see there's a lot of proof in the media about what happens when you use this kind of centralized and opaque systems. We see backdoor discovered in Swiss voting, second flaw in the Swiss voting, vote fraud claims in the United States, in the Congo, in Venezuela. Even in some sport clubs, they were experimented some tampering in the voting. So that's why we need a universal, digital-first, unstoppable voting system. A system that enables secure, transparent, end-to-end verifiable, censorship-resistant, and democratic decision-making processes. It should be built and delivered in a free and open-source fashion, and should leverage cryptography and distributed systems. And hey, do not forget that it needs to be inclusive and universally accessible, because we are talking about voting, and everyone have the right to vote. So how we approach the problem? First, of course, we need blockchain technology. We cannot imagine a proper voting system that doesn't run in a transparency and secure layer as a blockchain. So we wanted to use cutting-edge technology, whatever possible, but without impacting the user experience. we needed to accept some trade-off, only when they need to improvements over existing solutions, which is not that difficult. We wanted to create a public good, so anyone can build on top of it. Imagine the TCP/IP, but for voting. But we need a business on top of it, because it's super difficult to get funding for public projects and projects that are defined as a public good. So there's a business model on top of it. We need to build easy and secure, flexible tools, but we need to stay pragmatic, even though we need to fight for the vision that we have. And a really important thing I need to take into account is that we need to engage and educate all actors, from private, public, and third sector. Because otherwise, at some point, if we don't do it now, at some point, another centralized company will come and we will end up having the same results. So yeah, technically speaking, our journey started in 2017. We forked Zcash, and we were sending votes as Zcash transactions because Zcash has all the privacy properties we wanted, but it lacked programmability. In 2018, we developed a proof authority network based on Ethereum, but at that point, we didn't have the cryptographic primitives required for doing so, and also scalability was a problem. Then we switched to a Tendermint-based approach. If you don't know about Tendermint, it's the base technology which empowers the Cosmos ecosystem. It's about sovereign chains and app-specific blockchains. So we didn't need to take care about the consensus and peer-to-peer layer, and we only focused on creating the state machine for voting. This is actually a technology that all the people that is using Bogdani nowadays, the clients and other people are using. And yeah, since 2024, we revisited the Ethereum ecosystem, and we were sure that this was the future. All the applied cryptography, the scalability issues were solved. And yeah, this is the new protocol that we are working on. It's called DaVinci. So about the voting protocol, DaVinci stands for Decentralized Autonomous Voting Integrity Network with Cryptographic Inference. It's decentralized and anonymous because the protocol can run autonomously, so there are no central parties, and uses EVM contracts and a purpose-specific ZK rollup. We call it Vote Integrity Network because it's run by an incentivized network of sequencers that accumulates, verify, re-encrypt, and aggregates the votes cast by the user. And we use the word cryptographic inference because the network derives conclusions, so the tally, exclusively from cryptographic premises, fully backed by zero knowledge proof. So basically how it works, we have three actors, okay? So we have the voters, we have the sequencers, and we have any EVM compatible chain. The voters encrypt their vote using homomorphic encryption and prove the integrity using ZK snarks. Also, they prove that they are in the census, so in the list of eligible voters, using Merkle tree-based ZK snarks. Then these votes were sent to this network of sequencers, and the sequencers, what they do is to accumulate these votes, verify that the state transition of the Merkle tree of all the process is properly done, and they send cryptographic proof to Ethereum, so we can trace back all. Basically, what you can do is, since the point you cast the vote, since the tally, you can check mathematically that the vote was not altered and the results were computed correctly. So how the voting experience looks like, and this is like the talk, what's the talk about. So we managed to put all this thing into a nice UI that anyone can use, and this is the experience of the voter. Basically, you receive a link through emails, through SMS, or through any other mean, for example, a certified letter, and then you have a link. You access the link, and the only thing you see is like the name of the voting process, the description, the questions, and the possible results that there will be at some point. Then you need to identify yourself. In that sense, we are very flexible on identification mechanisms, so it's up to the organization how they want to verify their users. And it also depends on the level of security they need. In this case, in this example, I will be authenticating myself with my name, my email, and then I will receive a two-factor authentication code to verify that to try to downgrade like the civil attacks. So in that case, the user authenticates themselves, I receive the code, and I have another confirmation screen here that I'm saying you are voting for this process and this is the vote you are going to cast. Basically, you confirm the vote and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to deal with Web3 tech, so everything is transparent for the user. And at the end, you receive a unique identifier that will be useful for you to tracking your vote, to check that everything was fine in the voting process. This, as I said, we also need to work for the organizations and to make them use the technology in a seamless way. So that's why we created this dashboard here. It's super simple. You can create new votes, you can upload your member base. We have some templates for annual general meetings, elections, participatory budgeting, and then you just need to configure the voting, upload your census, and configure the authentication. You don't need to do anything else. You publish the vote, and then anyone can vote. So yeah, this is the part that I'm most excited about. We already provide this kind of technology to real-world organizations. We can see here different verticals from public administrations, membership associations, integrators, unions and professional bodies, corporate governance, political parties, and sports and entertainment clubs. I want to showcase one of the biggest use case we had, because I'm very proud of it. So we have the Belarus opposition. The Belarus opposition is a political party that now is in exile because they're being prosecuted in their country, and they use Bogdani for holding transparent and verifiable elections under international observation. We also find private organizations like the Football Club Barcelona, where their member base is distributed across the Gulf, and they wanted to increase participation and to reduce costs. We also have some public bodies. For example, we held the first official referendum with binding execution in Spain in the municipality of Bellpuig. And we're working with the city of Barcelona, piloting the first digital first voting system. If this initiative succeeds, probably next year will be extended to all the province, which has 5.6 million inhabitants. Also, one of the things that I'm most proud is we contributed to the Spanish politics. So it was a pivotal high-stake voting determining Catalonian presidency and Spain government stability. So Esquerra Republicana, in this case, had the key votes for investing Pedro Sánchez as the Prime Minister of Spain. And they wanted to ask their user base for voting for this. So yeah, we powered also this election. So yeah, just some lessons learned during these years. Legislation is not friendly most of the times, but you can go around it and you can find your way. You know how to open an email, but your grandmother does not. You should provide a seamless UX, and you should sometimes enable physical polling stations that use digital voting mechanisms, but that way you can make them understand how it works. Identity notification is fragmented, and I don't think this will be solved anytime soon. So that's why we need to provide this flexible authentication system. Also, when you go to companies, companies care about money. Having the best technology is nothing. So if you can reduce their cost and make their life easy for them and for their voters, they will go all in. And yeah, the public sector is worried. They are afraid of these kind of technologies. And with a good reason, during the past 20 years, we failed delivering proper digital voting. But now the times change. And also, all sectors want an end-to-end service, and you must cover all phases. No one wants to be accountable. So you should provide an easy and a cost-effective way that covers all the phases of the voting process, in the census creation to the tally. It takes time to earn trust, and only one mistake to lose it. Also, proper digital voting is an ultra-difficult subject. Creating a digital voting system that fulfills all the democratic guarantees, so anonymity, privacy, end-to-end verifiability, universal verifiability, and all these properties that are written in a United Nations letter, it's super easy. But now we are closer than ever. And also, yeah, build something that can be easily used and integrated by anyone. Takeaways. When you try digital voting, you cannot look back. The turnout increased drastically. In participatory budgeting, we are talking that we're going from 3 to 5% to almost 30 to 40% on average. And on high-stake elections, like the ones I explained for the Spanish politics, it was almost 90% participation. The narrative for the public sector is legitimacy and convenience, and for the private and third sector is cost and convenience. And yeah, that's most of it. I would like to share this with you. We are going to present it tomorrow officially, but we wrote a manifesto because we are tired that democracy is under threat, democracies are failing to us, and we are not spectators. We are the ones that need to make democracy thrive. So this is a manifesto for collective freedom, so I would be very happy that you can sign it and help us to reimagine democracy. Here, you can find the resources. Voctoni.io is the main webpage. DaVinci.vote is the webpage for the protocol that we are working on. You can go to GitHub. Everything is open source. Take everything you want. Here is your contact. And that's it. Thank you so much.